kick it off.
Let's do it, man.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Jiu-Jitsu Times MMA BJJ podcast. I am your host, Kevin Bradley, joined by my delightful co-host, who is more bear than man. I think if I were to touch him, he would feel like granite, but I can't confirm. Multiple IBJJF world champion, Kevin Gallagher. Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Masters world champion. I just want to make sure we make that distinction. I don't feel like getting hate emails.
Okay, I'm not at the level where I think where I can care about that yet. That's how you can really tell how
that's cool.
early I am.
World champion. I appreciate your amusement with me. Or that's cool.
Your neck is twice the size of mine. This is the first time in my life where I've been self-conscious about the size of my neck.
I did deadlifts today too, man. I'm really tired.
Kevin G looking juicy as hell. I screwed up then because I did squats today. So
yeah, you should have done a little more.
You can't tell that I'm jacked right now. That's
Maybe you
it.
should like stand up with some shorts on or something. So
I'm just gonna do hex bar trap deadlift, like 20 reps right before the show starts.
I've been hitting pretty hard lately. I feel solid.
That's how you do it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So essentially, basic rundown of what the show is going to be. We're both writers for the Jiu-Jitsu Times. We happen to have access to a lot of the best writers and connections in the business. And so we figured we might want to utilize that site to talk about it and give you people, our readers, our listeners, some of the highlights for the week and the goings on of jiu-jitsu and MMA. And we might even have some guests on.
There we go.
Avery said she might want to come on.
Avery's
basically our boss.
I don't think I've ever actually spoken to Avery face to face. It's funny because I have all these people that I correlate with all the time, and I've never actually seen them in person. It's kind of odd. I talk to Avery all the time on Facebook, but I don't think I've actually met her.
It's funny that my family moved to Pittsburgh a while ago, and so I was visiting them from college, and I found out this was a few weeks after I started working. I found out that she lived in Pittsburgh at the time. So we got the chance to roll together, and
that's cool.
She kicked my ass.
That's cool. Yeah, I heard she's pretty good. She's purple.
Oh, she's good. Yeah, no, like her spider guard was something fierce.
That's awesome,
I had to treat her like she was a grown man twice my size for her to keep up.
She's tiny too. She's a little thing, right?
She is a very small, very dangerous person.
I've seen a couple of videos of her competing. I think I watched her finish a heel hook on some girl one time, and she looked pretty good, man. She moves well.
She's really good. We only did it in the gi, so I didn't have to worry about heel hooks, which I was happy about. Okay, all right.
Hooters Cup.
Oh man, that's classic. I got my 89-cent Walmart mug, which is that should tell you when this podcast gets off. The minute you can tell I've made it when I have a Hooters Cup.
Exactly.
When I'm in that tax bracket,
you'll get there one day.
That higher tax bracket.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Life of a jiu-jitsu coach is not that luxurious.
I mean, okay. Well, let's just. I figured out how to potentially share. There we go.
Ah, nice.
There we go. Next level.
Wow, that's next level
Super
stuff. I might have to give you that. We could do that on my podcast. I like that a lot.
We're using StreamYard, which is just a super, like, if an idiot like me can figure stuff out. So essentially what we're going to be doing is looking over the homepage of Jiu-Jitsu Times and going over some of the big stories from the past week or few weeks and give our thoughts on the matter. And sometimes we'll have guests on to also commentate. Big one I want to talk about right off the bat is our boy Kelso from that 70s show has earned his brown belt.
So
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt.
I found out some more inside information on that, which is quite interesting to tell you the truth.
Right.
But so the big thing about this is everyone is online blasting Ashton Kutcher because he was awarded his brown belt, and they believe that because he's a celebrity or has celebrity status, he didn't earn it, and it was just awarded to him based upon that celebrity status. So it was kind of blowing Facebook all over the place today after the article was published.
The same thing happened, and this was right at like the beginning. Like this was before I even started training, but he had earned his purple belt.
Right.
Under in like somewhere like he had been training. He'd only been doing really private sessions, and he He hasn't made any posts about it.
So
on social media.
here's what I kind of think about the topic, and this is the biggest thing that people are saying when they say that, and they say that because he's Ashton Kutcher, because he's a star, he's not doing what every other jiu-jitsu practitioner would have to do, and what myself believes to be one of the more important aspects of jiu-jitsu or the most important aspect of jiu-jitsu is sparring live with other live opponents. So they kind of believe, and if that's not the case, I kind of believe with what I kind of side with what they're saying. I think it's kind of, he shouldn't be getting a brown belt. So it's funny because earlier today, I had heard when Regan gave him his purple belt, Regan was talking about how good he was and how amazing he was, and he thought he could win the world as a purple belt and all this other stuff. And it's when it comes from Regan Machado, you have to expect it. I mean, he's like one of the pillars of jiu-jitsu. You have to accept it to be true. You can't say, well, Regan Machado's full of shit, you know?
Yeah, this isn't some like no-name guy from like no place anyone's ever heard of. Like
exactly.
This is about as legit as you can get.
Exactly. You know? And you know, I heard that he was a judo black belt, is what I heard. I'm not. I heard. Yeah, I heard. I know he wrestled. He came up wrestling Iowa. He wrestled a lot. He's an incredible athlete. He was a male model. You know what I mean? So this is an athletic kid. He's a big kid, 6'2". So if he has all these attributes, it's hard to believe that he didn't earn that brown belt, because he's been training with him for, I think it was 6 years. So he's been training with him for a while.
Well, I mean, like when I was the one that I wrote this, and we ended up jumping on it pretty fast, because the link that Kit sent me was from the way the news broke to us was from a private Instagram account, so not a lot of people had access to it. And I remember I remember reading a TMZ article that Hegan did, or an interview he did, where he talked about Ashton's like background, and it's like he was I got the quote right there saying that his background was in wrestling,
right?
And like that seems kind of vague. Like I don't know if he was at the like high school, or if he was like
what I reviewed on. I kind of Googled a little bit, because I put a Facebook post up today defending him. I felt bad for the kid, because like, you know, I think it's kind of shitty that people don't know the hell they're talking about. You know, it just we want to rack on someone for achieving something when they don't realize, you know, don't know all the facts. But when I reviewed it, it said that he came up wrestling in Iowa, and he grew up wrestling his entire life. He wrestled in high school, was a standout high school wrestler, but no collegiate wrestling. But coming from Iowa and coming from the preschool or pre-high school after school or whatever wrestling programs they would have there, he probably has a very legitimate wrestling pedigree. You know?
Well, I mean, just look at guys like Nick Rodriguez have really just sort of started to break down the traditional ideas of like how long it takes to get really good at jiu-jitsu.
Right.
You know, like he came in, and obviously he's been grappling like his whole life. Like he's looked the way he does since high school. Like he posted a picture a few days ago of like the transformation from high school to now. I'm like still the same like shoulder width and everything. Right. Like you're a monster, man. That's awesome. And it's like his top pressure is insane, and he's wrestled his whole life, not at D1 level. He was at D3, I think.
No, yeah, but I'll say this about Nick. He's a special athlete. There's no bones about. There's other guys that have had that ridiculous wrestling pedigree that you know have not succeeded that well immediately into the jiu-jitsu world. You know, first of all, he's training up there with John Danaher and my man Smash Jay. He's on point. He's got a couple other guys from Rutgers that are coming over. He's going to blow it up with, but it's partly because he's in that amazing system, but partly because he's a next level, elite level athlete. It's amazing how quickly he picks up on things and the techniques he's willing to do. And I think a lot of it comes from the fact he's probably the most confident kid I've ever met in my life. Like I've hung out with him a few times, and I've hung out with him a few times, and it's funny. I always talk about this. I always say like he's got everything going for him. He's a male model, like he's an amazing athlete, and you want to hate him. But when you talk to him, he's such a cool, down-to-earth kid that you're like, oh man, like I can't hate this kid. He's awesome. He's such a good kid, and that hard work ethic and that a bit like competitiveness makes him what he is. So.
Honestly, like, and this is speaking. I'm also from Jersey. My whole family is from Jersey originally. My dad actually went to Rutgers, and cool, so like I gotta just say, I like the rest of the world. It's gonna take like sometimes it takes a lot for people to get it, but that's like the mentality sometimes.
Right.
It's just like, fuck everybody. We're the Garden State. Man, Springsteen, ride or die, man.
Well, there's some
Taylor Ham, egg and cheese.
My family's from up there and right outside of Trenton. So you get it, yeah. I know the whole thing. Those Jersey guys are tough.
Shout out West Orange. Shout out Star Tavern Pizza.
But anyway, one more thing I wanted to add to the piece on Ashton Kutcher, because this is something that when I posted the thing defending him on Facebook, someone posted an article and it was very, very enlightening to me. So it talked about Riga Machado and the fact that he works with all these celebrities and does private lessons. And as you read it, there's a direct quote that says he set up a special program for these celebrities that involves no competition and no sparring. So I'm not sure what system he's talking about. You know what I mean? I don't know what he does. He says it involves a lot of heavy flow, like heavy flow techniques and all these other things like that. But he says these guys are too important and doesn't even want to take a 1% chance of them getting hurt. So when you look at that and you base the criteria for what Ashton Kutcher deserves, now, I don't know, man, it opens up a whole nother can of worms for me.
Well, I'm just in my head, I'm thinking optimally, like he's working around his work schedule,
right?
You know, and assuming like it reminds me of the story that was on I think it was when Jean-Jacques went on the JRE. The little puppy. Sorry, my dogs. Jean-Jacques went on. Hey, no worries. When Jean-Jacques went on the Joe Rogan podcast, he was talking about Chuck Norris when Chuck Norris started training,
right?
And that Chuck had like 7 months free. Like he would work like most of the year, and then for like 7 months, or no, he'd work for like part of the year, and then he'd have like 6-7 months,
right?
Just like a massive stretch of time to himself, and that he would be training every day.
Right.
Now I'm thinking if Ashton's got that set up and he's training that consistently,
right?
Like when you take jiu-jitsu, a lot of the reasons that it's like the mastery takes so long is because like it's very intensive and people have got lives, you know. But if you're training every day, like maybe 2-a-days, right. I don't know how good I would be. I've never been able to train that consistently.
And particularly while Riga Machado's watching your every moment, every time you train too. So he's there to correct you and give you guidance throughout the course of it. I'll say this, like I 100% believe that Riga Machado would not give someone a brown belt unless they deserved it. And I am going to rest what I say on that. And I'm going to hold true to that. And I also believe that, you know, if you think about Ashton Kutcher's background, the wrestling background, you know, maybe he's just cut from another cloth and he's actually doing the right thing. So that's what I'm going to hold on to. But I don't know. After reading that article, it was very, very tough for me to side with Ashton. I'm sorry. Still there?
Yeah, hang on 1 second. I'm gonna end this and then cut it because I'm not sure that my mic has been working, and I just want to because I
hear you.
You hear me fine?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Yeah.
Do you hear me better now?
Not much. It's the same thing. I mean, it's a little bit clearer, but not really. I mean, I was hearing you perfect the whole time.
All right. Well, I'll just snip that part out, or I leave it in just to show that we're a plucky upstart show. It's trying its best.
I'll leave all the editing up to you, man.
Kevin, what you need to understand is you're so intimidating. I got to be sort of the screw up, the plucky underdog that people root for.
Yeah, the comedic foil.
They're like, why is that granite statue talking to that nerd? What's happening?
just roll with it, man.
Hang on, I'm gonna Venmo you my lunch money real quick.
That's fine.
No, okay. So okay, let's get that was okay, so final verdict, Ashton, if you ever listen to this, congratulations. You know, Hope to see you. Like, you know what? Do a tournament. That'd be awesome.
And at the end of the day, the one thing I want to say about it is like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, why is it such a big deal that Ashton Kutcher, you know, not deserve his brown belt? Why are we now? Why do you feel like your brown belt or your blue belt or your purple belt is any less value? You know, just move on with your life. Who gives a shit? Riga Machado knows what he's doing. Who cares? Ashton Kutcher's a good dude. He's an ambassador. Brings more eyes on jiu-jitsu. Move on with your life.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's really quick. Like you're seeing all these, like famously Keanu Reeves. Like that's the big dude that's like repping jiu-jitsu, not only in life but like in his movies. He's integrating it into the media he's saying. And John Wick's like everybody's favorite action movie of the last 10 years.
Right.
You know, like.
Right. You know, dude, I make a living teaching private lessons. You know, I teach private lessons all day long. So the more movie stars that are doing jiu-jitsu, the more famous people doing jiu-jitsu, I throw it up on Facebook and people are like, oh, wow, Ashton Kutcher's doing private lessons. Let me hit Coach Evan up and do some private lessons with him. So God bless Ashton Kutcher. Talk away. Keep going. Hope you get your black belt, kid.
I'll do you one better. I'll MC the fight to win Kevin Gallagher versus Ashton Kutcher super fight.
I tell you what, if he's as good as Enrique Machado says, I don't want to mess with that kid in the gi. Screw that. I mean, I feel like I can hold my own, but it's not going to be fun.
Yeah, just a last minute Ezekiel choke from guard. Just like pull off some crazy. He is a big dude.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
He's like 6'2".
Yeah, and he's kind of like he's a big, solid, stout boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's next?
Okay,
Moving right along.
Moving right along. Okay.
Cool.
Oh man. Okay. So taking a little bit to learn. Okay. Well, in the test episode we did before this, we talked a little bit about Ben Askren. Let's talk about Diaz real quick.
Yeah, cool. Diaz
just because everyone's story's developed a little bit. Yes. Okay. Who you got real quick?
Like, oh wow, the fight's this week, and I forgot about that.
Who you got?
Oh man, I think that I think Diaz is too good, man. I like Jorge Masvidal. I think he's amazing. I think he's really cool. But I think his rise to stardom through kneeing Ben Askren might have kind of catapulted him a little bit prematurely.
In his defense, he also beat Darren Till.
Yeah, I
was
guess
like
so, yeah.
he was building up for title contention, and he was like a phenomenal like fighter that Jorge really definitively beat, and.
Yeah.
So I think that helps, but
we'll see, man. I think Nate's going to be a little bit too much for him to handle. I think Nate's a better fighter. I just think Nate's been around longer. Nate's on fire right now. He's just fighting at another level. He beat the shit out of Anthony Pettis in that fight.
I could not imagine him coming back from the layoff he's had and looking that good.
Right.
That I was just amazed at the punches he was eating, but he didn't look.
No.
The Diaz brothers freak me out a little bit. I don't think I'll ever fully understand them, and I don't know that I want to. I love them to death. It's just like I mentioned this before, but I think I just don't get strikers at all, just because I was my buddy, my good friend Tristan Gennaro, who's like a real high level Taekwondo black belt, and he's got like a lot of Muay Thai under his belt, Kyokushin karate. Just like from the time he could walk, he was learning all the different like super traditional martial arts from a bunch of sources he's had.
Right.
And I sparred with him one time. Like I've been helping him do some jiu-jitsu. And we put on some gloves, and he's like, let's just like spar light. And I'm like, okay, I think I get it. And the minute he started putting it on me, I fully forgot everything. I forgot how to count. I forgot where I live, what state I was in. And I just fully thought about like turtling up and like looking for an ankle pick or something.
I'll tell you, man.
Like crawling on my stomach.
I've done martial arts in one manner or other for a long, long time, man. I've done boxing. I wrestled. I did jiu-jitsu. I did a lot of stuff. There is nothing in the world that sucks more than getting punched in the face. Getting punched in the face is a special kind of tough. You got to be a little nutty to take that stuff, man. It's weird.
Anyone that looks at like Brian Ortega's fight against Max Holloway and goes, "Oh, why you're a black belt? Why didn't you do any? Like, why didn't you do jiu-jitsu?" I'm like, yeah, but Max Holloway's a black belt and punching you in the face.
Right, exactly.
And if you're that good at punching someone in the face,
right.
A lot of the rules don't like start to apply. Everything sort of just turns into soup.
And when you watch fights like that and you see people in the stands that are like, oh, well, I would have done this, I would have done that. And why isn't he taking him down? It's like, because, dude, you don't know how much that hurts. Like every one of those punches that they're getting landed with, like hurts so bad that if that person in the stand got glanced at one of those, it would be game over. They'd say, what the hell? This is horrible. Why am I still doing this? So that's why people don't take shots. That's why people don't move forward, because when they move forward, they get hit in the face and it hurts.
When you've got a lot of experience with you're a bartender, right?
I bartend, yeah. I've been bartending.
Yeah, so you've had a lot of experience in bars. How many of those conversations have you sort of just picked up? You've got to shut your brain off because you're just like I can strangle everyone in here.
So my rule when I talk about fighting is this: is if you want to talk to me and you want to learn something, and you can appreciate that maybe I know what I'm speaking about and you probably don't, and I will enlighten you beyond your years if you just allow me to speak to you during this conversation, then I'll talk to that person about fighting, even though they don't know anything about it. But if you come at me and you're trying to correct me and you're trying to tell me things and you're trying to state your point rather than ask me my opinion on things, then like I just don't have time for it. I'll stare at you and I'll smile and I'll placate you and I'll probably just agree with you to get you to shut up, but I'm gonna move on with my night.
Do you think that the whole BMF, and I'm not going to say the actual name because Kit respectfully asked us to keep swearing to a minimum. Love you, Kit.
I'm trying to keep it blue for you, Kit.
I appreciate it because I couldn't stop you.
That's actually a challenge for me, by the way.
Oh my god! But yeah, no.
Keep the bleeper close.
Just like I should just have a button, edit it so I could just click it whenever I feel it coming. Just. Do you think that this belt's a good thing for because a lot of fighters have sort of been annoyed by it because it's like taking attention away from the rankings and the weight classes, and it's just this sort of weird thing that it honestly makes perfect sense, but I can't explain why it makes perfect sense. I want it to happen. So
there's a couple different reasons why they came up with this, as far like from what I can think of. They were in the talks for trying to create a new weight division, and I remember Masvidal and Diaz were both considered to fight for that division. Yeah, it was supposed to be like it goes 50. I think they were gonna make it every 10 pounds up to 80, and take away the 75. Something weird, but they were gonna add another division. I can't remember off the top of my head. So yeah. Yeah, it seems to me that they made this particularly just so they can say, you know what, screw it, we're not going to make the other division, or maybe we will make the other division and we'll make this person a champion of it. But we need a belt because it has to be a title fight so we can have it for a main event. So we're going to create something and call it the BMF belt, so these guys can fight for it. We're going to have a main event card.
It's funny when I was rewatching the moment that started this whole thing, and it's when Diaz is calling it, saying Jorge Masvidal had a good last fight.
Right.
Good last fight. You can see that right in front of Masvidal is your boy AJ Agazarm.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if Bellator is gonna put something together like that. Well, Scott Kirker goes, hey, that's a good idea.
I mean, AJ trains with Nate and those guys out at Cesar Gracie's in where is it? Stockton, where they live at. Every time I see him on Instagram, he's out there posting pictures of him. So he I mean, he wouldn't be involved in that belt. I love you, AJ, but you're not far enough down the road to get a shot like that. He'll hate me for that, but he's coming. He'll get his time, I guess.
I mean, like I get that I get AJ's. It's marketing. It's putting yourself out there.
Yeah, man. I've met AJ. I knew him for a long time. He's a good kid, dude. He puts people have to sell that image. They have to put stuff up there and say like they're
AJ. If you want to come on, man, would love to have you. I need to get hair. I would love to just have him on to get hair tips from him, because that guy's hair is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. Like it's the right amount of poofy and it's got volume. And I'm like, dude, you need to just start a YouTube like hair care channel and just take us through it. Show us what we're doing wrong. Please don't kill me. Like that's not a joke. Like
I mean that's an impressive trait. We got AJ Agazarm and Clark Gracie, like the perfect hair club for the jiu-jitsu team.
But real like to end on the Diaz Masvidal fight, you had all this like controversy leading up to it in the last few weeks, like the last week and a half maybe, of Diaz coming out announcing that he had tested positive for some trace banned substances, like infinitesimal amounts, like John Jones picograms.
Right.
And he was the one that jumped on it before the New York State Athletic Commission, before the UFC, but he was the first one to make a statement on it. And he immediately threatened to pull out of the card, ruin everything. And that seemed to jumpstart. He seemed to get a lot of respect and power from that move, because the card kind of warped around him in the way it does with John Jones whenever John Jones has a controversy and a day ending and why. And then within like a day and a half, the situation resolved itself. Diaz was back on. He wasn't banned, wasn't fined for anything, and it revealed that he got the supplement from the tainted supplement was from a vegan multivitamin, which is just like if you can't even trust that,
then what are we doing here? So the thing about Nate is that there was an article that just came out today. I didn't read it yet, but it really talked about how just about what you said about how he really did a number and kind of strong armed the USDA, and they crumbled under it. So that leads, I mean, that's good and bad. It's good for the fact that, the USDA is ridiculous, man. Or the USADA, not USDA, USADA. It's starting to become clear that there may be a flawed system. The problem with what the system is they're doing is they're testing at such a ridiculous amount. I mean, they are testing for infinitesimal amounts of banned substances. And then they're drawing the conclusions post that this had to be a cause from this. And what they're starting to find out is that like those infinitesimal numbers are found in other circumstances, and they don't really understand how to deal with it. They don't understand what to do. Like a perfect example was with John Jones and the termomedol. So they found the picograms after he tested positive a long time ago, and they found them reoccurring, and they tested him positive and popped him positive again. What they're starting to find out is that termomedol stays metabolized into the system like years and years and years, and will continue to pop up. And they found that because that was what the Russians were using. So now as they're continually testing these Russians after time, they're finding out that they're continuing to pop for the termomedol because it still metabolizes in the system. So the thing of it is now that because Nate could go back and say, hey, you know what? This is screwed up, and they back down. Now everyone can say, well, I don't know, man. I wasn't doing that. Something must have been tainted. Something must have been this. So it messes up the whole whack now. I think they should go back to the way they did it before. I think it was WADA. I mean, a lesser organization that just tests for what they're looking for in the broader sense of the word. So now you don't have these situations because, look, dude, there's no way to dispute this. You had freaking like this much in your system. Obviously it's caught. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sorry, I just got a news update from ESPN on my phone. Darren Till is having visa issues, and so he might have trouble with his upcoming fight against Kelvin Gastelum.
Oh, that sucks. That was gonna be a good fight.
That dude, with I feel bad for Till. It's just one thing after another. Like it's weight, it's this, it's a bunch of other stuff. But yeah. Well, back to USADA. I think people are starting. It seems like people are way happier right now because USADA came down on Nate's side. Everything came down on the fighter's side,
right?
And it's a fighter people love. Like he's one of the most beloved fighters in active competition right now. To the point where even him and his brother, even GSP said like I like Nick and Nate. They just don't like me.
That's pretty funny, man. I think they're great, man. I think they're great for the sport. When Nick came back and fought, who the hell did he fight? The kid he just fought, the last one, I forget his name. Anyway, I said it earlier. When he came back for this last fight and they were doing the walk, Anthony Pettis, yeah. Right? When they were walking out and he was coming to stage and they had smoke up in the cage and everything. I can't remember the last time I was that physically amped up for a fight. Like I was really like, oh, whoa, this is gonna go, like smacking my hands and really, really excited to watch that fight. Like it was really, really cool to see the return because they had the beef between them for so long. And Pettis is a badass, freaking Nate Diaz is a badass. There's no way that could have been a boring fight.
It was so much ever since Tony Ferguson tripped a few days before facing facing Khabib. I'm burning rosemary. I'm like crossing all my fingers. Like until I see the walkout, I don't trust.
Yeah, don't.
And
trust
even
nothing.
now, like I'm like he could trip when Israel Adesanya like started doing his dance routine and he started like doing all this crazy moves before. I'm like, oh god, please don't like you're so don't do it, man. We're cursed with this. We could have had Tony Ferguson fighting Khabib, man.
Right. Yeah, like nothing, like keep them guys in a glass bubble. Dana White said he's talking about that for early next year, but nothing is final until they set a date. They said Dana White, he was on ESPN News, so I knew it was legit. Said that Dana White was they're talking in the talks of Khabib Ferguson for early 2020. So,
oh man,
again, we'll see. Keep your fingers crossed and put them dudes in a glass bubble.
Again, like I got all my family members burning, prayer candles.
What's next?
Prayer candles. Now? All right, let's go over some of the more recent stuff. 5 biggest. Avery's been putting out a lot of great content. Lachlan Giles. Oh my god. Awesome. Let's review. Actually, since you are the more seasoned veteran of the sport, like let's go over some of the D-bag moves from our own boss Avery.
I got that. All right, cool. Let's see. I don't know if I read this one yet, but you can read through it. I think I clicked on it, but I don't think I read it.
I was supposed to read it. I've been doing like grad school stuff all day, so I've been
this is literally the first time I've sat down all day long. It's been a crazy day for me.
Yeah, I forgot my weightlifting belt, so I couldn't lift super heavy today.
That's what I did. But today, man, my freaking back is crushed.
I'll actively jump into oncoming traffic to avoid doing deadlifts.
I don't like it beforehand. But I got a trainer I work with now looks after me, make sure I do them right. So,
what would you say the number one weightlifting gym exercise for jiu-jitsu would be?
So, I mean, I'm a little bit jaded because I have my routine, but I like to say work with large muscle group workout as much as you possibly can. I say deadlifts, bench press, squat, and overhead presses. And so I won't tell you what I believe. I think deadlifts are the most important lift to get strong no matter what. I think you should be figuring out a way to do deadlifts because it makes you stronger. Get somebody to teach you how to do it right. But what I'll say rather than say what I believe is the greatest exercise for jiu-jitsu training, I'll tell you what I believe to be the best focus of jiu-jitsu training. And I believe it's flexibility to keep your mobility and your hips and everything are working right for you. And I believe it has to do with lifting heavy to get stronger. And you can lift heavy and get strong and not put on the muscle mass while you do that, but get with your good program, do those big muscle group workouts and keep the flexibility and mobility. The most important piece, make sure you're stretching.
We got a future guest I'm hoping to get is my coach Ed. He's in addition to being my coach, he was also my jiu-jitsu professor. He was also my cross country coach in high school, and he's like the type of guy that's like obsessed with Steve Prefontaine, like just super into the running minimalist lifestyle, and like his biggest exercise, and like he does a bit of circuit training at the gym he works at, but for him it's like cardio and and the flexibility that comes with cardio and doing active isolation stretches afterwards.
Right.
We'll get that's down the road. We'll get him on.
So what I say about things like that is this, and this is the reason why I like to lift heavy and do minimalistic lifting and stuff like that. It's because guys that do all these heavy circuits and they worry about the cardio and all those other things while they're doing jiu-jitsu, like jiu-jitsu is hard enough. You're going to get your cardio. You're going to beat your body up enough doing jiu-jitsu. Do a workout that isn't going to beat you down as much while you're doing your workout. So that's what it's worth. I think that new modern science in fighting is starting to come to show that to be true. When you see like the UFC's training centers, they're trying to keep these guys healthy, so they're training smart. Yeah,
I mean, I wonder what like in 50 years the the knowledge base is going to be for MMA fighters. Like they're going to look. I wonder what they'll look at. Like you spar.
Yeah,
you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean,
jack your brain into the VR system and like digital fight.
Soon. It's got to come soon, man. I mean, I don't know about all that, but they got people. These guys got to be taking care of themselves more. And jiu-jitsu, MMA in general is a very young sport. The science behind it is starting to catch up to it. So.
Yeah, all right. I was going light with you that one. Oh man. Shoot, that kind of hits me where I live a little bit, just because that's happened to me. That happened to me a lot as a white belt, and it made me want to quit.
Right. I guess I think the guy that calls that, a lot of times guys do that with ego, because maybe somebody they were rolling with got the better of them, and rather than say, hey, you know what, like I was only taking it easy and you got the better of me. See, I would never do that. Like if I'm rolling with someone and I'm internally taking it easy and they pass my guard and then do whatever, even if they submit me, never in a million years would I ever make an excuse about it. Now, the next time I roll with them, I might try to tap them 8 times. But
yeah, you go hard, but
you never make an excuse when you get tapped. You never make an excuse when somebody gets the better of you.
I have this.
You look like an asshole and it fucks with the other person. Shit. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I have this. Okay, well,
yeah, right.
That's like that's about.
I made it. That's a record for me. I did make it a long time.
I know, like it's nearly 40 minutes. I think
that's impressive.
We'll just like so much throw you a cookie. Like
my mother will be very proud of me.
Oh man, I have this visceral memory. I was a white belt for about 2.5 years, which is like about the average time. But towards the end, you really start to feel cagey. And I remember I was training at this place in Pittsburgh, and I was a white belt, and I had been getting really good at leg attacks, and so but I know that a lot of schools aren't cool with them, so I just like to check before rolling, like, hey man, is it cool if we do like leg attacks and stuff? And I was gonna roll with this guy, and I asked him, and he looked down at my belt and grabbed at my belt and looked at, there was no stripes on my white belt, and he's like, oh, I don't think you should. And I'm like, he was probably just being a cool dude, but in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna tenderize this man. I'm gonna throw everything I got at this guy, even if it's not gonna work. And he was a blue belt, and I ended up tapping him, which was the first time I'd ever tapped a belt higher than me. So it
was the motivation you needed. See,
and I didn't even use a leg lock. I got a guillotine on him.
There you go.
And then the first words out of his mouth were, man, I'm coming back from illness. And I'm like, you dude. Why, man?
Why would you do that? You never do that.
I'm going to quit. I wanted to quit after that because I'm like, that sucks.
First of all, visceral, good use. That was pretty impressive. You can tell you're a writer.
I mean, the journalism degree has to be good for something,
Absolutely.
So. This is why I'm doing this. It's just so I can say some words that make Kevin Gallagher go, oh, man, that's pretty good.
Well, I mean, like, from one writer to another, like I have this whole opinion that the spoken word or the written word is dying, and it's good to know that people still care enough about language to use beautiful, eloquent words when it's necessary and appropriate.
Well, it's funny because that's to go off a little bit on a tangent. My dad did a lot of business in Germany when I was a kid, and so he would always just inject a lot of random German words into the vernacular because he always liked sounding cool to people.
Right.
Like he was casting spells.
Like Harry Potter.
Danke. He would never say thank you. He would just say Danke.
Danke, that's
Danke. So it's just like language. Language is important. And especially in Jiu-Jitsu, we have our own language. We say a bunch of words that no one will ever know the meaning of.
No.
Os. Respect. Go for back 2 points. 2 points.
Uma plata. I have the worst Brazilian. I'm the worst. I have the word Portuguese.
I have my crappy Brazilian accent comes because my teacher Ed does a really good impression of his teacher Marcio Stambowski, who's his son Neiman's in Bellator. He fought Rory McDonald. Like he's like legendary dude, and he's just this massive like dude from Rio who's just like, oh, scissor hands, Ed, you're so good.
Yeah,
so good. Come down to train,
man. They make them Brazilians big sometimes, man. Some of the Brazilian guys.
He's got Marcio Stambowski. In the time I've been training, Marcio Stambowski still has the softest hands of anyone I've ever felt. It's like it's unreal, to the point where every person that I know that's also shaking his hand, like my mom shook his hand one time, she's like, that man has the softest hands I've ever felt.
But believe it or not, people tell me that too. There's a weird thing about me. I'm this big burly guy, but I have these ridiculously soft hands. It's kind of creepy. I have like lady hands. It's
God designed you so that before you put someone to sleep, they feel good about it. Like, this doesn't feel so bad.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
It's like, oh man,
just let it go.
Just go to sleep. Come back to me, my child. All right, celebrating after a tap in the gym. Okay. People have different opinions on what is and isn't too much when it comes to post-victory celebration in combat. Okay, I've never seen this in the gym. I've never really seen anybody go ham.
No, I've never seen that before. Maybe in a tournament or a competition. That's, I still think it's a little bit cheesy, but I don't know. I've gotten lit up after winning a big match too. So I mean, it's not.
I've definitely seen it in competition. Like I did last year. I did Grappling Industries at the Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio, and it was the blue belt division, and the finals was this dude and this other dude from Brazil. And the dude from Brazil made such a meal out of the whole thing. I started to feel bad. Like he like the showmanship with which he was dominating. And then it was so poetic because what happens in the last 30 seconds of every gi match, dude goes for a toe hold. Like last ditch toe hold. And then like not only does this Brazilian dude do the thing of just like, it's not going to affect me, he starts yawning, like actively like looking at his watch. I'm just like, this man's insane. And then when the bell rings, he just gets up, starts screaming in Portuguese, and just like rips his gi open.
Was it like a super fight they were doing, or was it the
No, it was just the last. It was just these were just two no-name guys like at blue belt, like at the tournament.
That makes it even better.
And I'm like, why did you
now
come
it's
here
funny.
for this?
Now it's funny.
like this wasn't like some soup. Like this wasn't the Meow Brothers. This was, they don't even celebrate. This wasn't like anyone from Renzo's or wherever. This was just a random dude in Columbus, Ohio, who was from Brazil. And it wasn't even that he was like a brown or black belt, but he was just making such a big meal out of this. That's the only time I've ever seen celebration get super like insane.
Right.
And the crazy thing is he was a perfectly nice dude afterwards.
Right. He just shamed and belittled his opponent.
Yeah, no, but afterwards he was like, to everyone, he was like, oh, hey, good job, man. Good job. Like, good job. And I'm like, dude, you were a dick earlier.
Man, so I don't know, man. I'll say this. There's a lot of it has to do with intent, and I've seen, I ref matches all the time too, and I see all kind of shit, man. I see young belts, I see blue belts, white belts doing dumb things like that all the time, and I just scratch my head and have no idea what I'm doing. But you're doing it all day long, so like whatever, give me your hand. Get out of my face. Who's next? But on that accord, when we're talking about what guys do, I feel that if you're doing it with the intent to be malicious, then you're kind of a prick. Like if you're doing it to get inside of your opponent's head, or you're doing it to kind of taunt your opponent, then you're a prick. Like I have been in matches where I've had conversations with my opponent, and sometimes, maybe we kind of taunt each other in a laughing manner and smack hands and keep going. And it's not meant to be dealt in a wrongful intent. You understand what I mean? So it's a matter of how you're putting it off. And it sounds to me, maybe if you got up and cheered, maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe he was just trying to be cool, and maybe the other guy wasn't that bad. But I don't know. If you're a blue belt, you don't need to be doing that shit anyway.
I mean, yeah, but clearly this dude, like he was very, very clearly a high level competitor. Like he was, I wasn't gonna say he's probably sandbagging a little bit just because of how unbelievably better than everybody else it was. Like I think I placed fourth that tournament out of like 8, and like he was very clearly like leaps and bounds over everybody, and he was just tooling on people a little bit. But yeah, so definitely celebrate. Like I think if you're celebrating after like during rolls after practice, you're kind of, that's not cool. I don't think.
I think you have like some serious issues.
Unless like, okay, hypothetically, if it's the type of match where like it's getting so intense that other people are stopping what they're doing and just like looking at it, and like this is like, it's like hot, like you're on top of your game and it's like maybe against your gym rival, and like maybe then like you celebrate, but like
or you and the other guy have been competing against each other a long time and you finally caught him, and again it's all about intent. It's all about if the other guy's in on it or not, and you guys are cool with that. Like, because I've had rolls with my guys before when I catch them and I kind of get up and like put my arms up in the air, and it's just because, hey man, we're kind of joking around. Hey, I finally caught you. I haven't caught you in so long. I'm pretty freaking excited about that. Hey, cool, let's go, keep rolling. Now if you're a freaking if you're a white belt and you finally caught some, like, I don't know, or say you're a purple belt and you've tapped some blue belt that's real tough, or you tapped him twice and now you're excited about it, you get up and cheer, like you're kind of a shit bag.
I wanted to, this kind of ties into something funny that happened in the writers group chat the other day. I don't know if you heard about it. So and Kit kind of just told us as a goof. And I'm not going to say who it is because I don't know, but some white belt messaged him the other day saying, "Hey, can you write a story about me? I just got my second stripe."
That's pretty funny.
And it wasn't like a celebrity. It was just some guy who got a second stripe on his white belt.
Tell that guy to email me. I'll write a story. That's pretty.
I know.
Funny.
Like
now I want to write it. Now I want to meet him. He sounds like a funny kid.
I told Kit, if you want me to write this, I'll knock it out of the park.
That actually would be fun. You could write like a satire.
Yeah, just like everyone stop what you're doing, man. Joe Blow from Montana, he's killing it. He just got his stripe on his white belt. But obviously, wherever you are, guy, props, unironic props to getting your second stripe. A lot of people would have quit by now, but also like you need to shut up. Just for
maybe he thought it was funny. Maybe who knows.
Granted,
maybe
like
trying to make a joke.
In 10 years, it comes out this guy beats Gordon Ryan at ADCC, and then he references this burn from Jiu-Jitsu.
You guys could have had the inside scoop.
You could have had me forever. I was gonna make you.
That's great. That probably won't happen.
Now I'm everything and you're nothing.
That's right. How does it feel?
Starting the Joe Blow Academy, he beats Keenan, he beats Gordon, he beats Lachlan Guile, he beats Gary Tonin.
We could have had it. We could have had it firsthand.
Transitions to UFC, beats Jorge Masvidal, beats Nate Diaz. He takes the BMF belt. Oh man, that's the best timeline to live in. All right, now number 3. Going 110% on someone way lighter or less experienced than you, I don't know. I think it depends on who the person is, and I'm referencing Avery. She's far lighter than me, and if I don't treat her like a 450-pound man, I'm losing. So I don't know about this one.
So the thing of it is like as you progress in your jiu-jitsu career, as you get farther and closer to your black belt, you start to learn how to kind of control yourself and maintain sometimes. But I'll tell you this, there are also black belts that I know that go 110% every time they roll, and they don't know how to find a second gear, and that's all they can do, and they're going to hurt you, and they're going to have elbows and knees and all kind of stuff, and that's just the way it goes. So what I would say is this, is as someone that's taking jiu-jitsu, if you don't like that person, they're kind of spazzy, you don't really have to roll with them. You can kind of say, hey man, you know what? I don't want to roll with you because I'm going to get hurt if I do. You always have the right to do that. But you also have to understand that sometimes that's just the way dudes roll, and that's just the way people roll, and that's the way you're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to move on. So I kind of agree with that, and I kind of disagree with that. I know what you're saying. If, we're just smacking hands and someone's trying to kill you, and you kind of have to be like, hey, bro, like, relax a little bit. But some people that's just the way they are. They have that kind of weird spark in their brain, and they can't get past the fact that we're just having a good time doing jiu-jitsu, and this is not a battle for life and death.
And I think it depends on like what mindset you're going into it with. You know, like my buddy, my really close friend Jeff Nelson. He's just a big Viking of a dude. He trains a lot at Unity, and he's pretty good friends with Tex Johnson, and they roll pretty often. And I don't want to get into it, but the stuff that Jeff has described from rolls with Tex, I'm like, dude, I think you could get him arrested. like, yeah, he nearly killed me. I almost died a few times.
Tex will hurt you, man.
No, but like also Jeff is the type of dude, like he played D1 rugby. So he's like so indoctrinated in that just like rough and tumble like vibe where it's like it's not a bad thing. It's just like it's how you do it. You know, it's how you get better. So
the problem with Tex, he's just so big and his mechanics are so good on his leg locks. He just freaking like it's not his fault he hurts you. He just freaking has so much power behind him that he can freaking snap your leg in half.
Yeah, I feel less comfortable knowing Tex Johnson's alive in the world, and so am I.
He looks. I competed against him a couple years. I actually went to overtime with him, lost by like 11 seconds in overtime. EBO.
Oh man!
Don't forget that, Tex. Don't you forget that, you son of a bitch. I went 10 minutes. You didn't submit me.
No, but like, and like it's like after like the rounds are done and he's cooled down a bit, like he just reverts to being a chill cool dude.
Super cool. He's he's the point of it is he looks like some kind of like creature. He just has like big hairy back and tattoos, and whenever he competes, he's shirtless. So you're in there touching him, and it's like, oh, this is so weird.
Like if there's in a different time, like had he been born in the 70s, he would have made his living just putting on monster costumes for like B monster movies,
or like, just being like somebody's muscle or something.
Yeah, he could have just shown up and become a Secret Service man.
Right.
Like they wouldn't have given him training. He would have just shown up at the White House, announced that he could storm the place, and they would have given him a suit and a gun and just been like, don't just point that away from the president.
That's funny.
Yeah. But Tex also, like if you end up hearing this, would love to have you on, man. You're a pretty dope dude. That video of him snapping the baseball bat
that's pretty slick.
Yeah. But I will say that there's two people that I don't think this rule applies to, and one of them is Avery, and the other one is this old fellow small woman competitor named Gabby Etzel. She's been on the Fight to Win circuit a few times, and she trains out of the Hive Martial Arts Academy in New Jersey, and she is like, you got to be careful around certain light people because they're light, but that means they can also flying triangle.
Oh yeah,
like they can just like I the first time I ever got flying triangled was from her, and she's like terrified me ever since. Cause like that was early on in my jiu-jitsu career, and I didn't know you could do that. Like I didn't think that was possible.
All of a sudden,
she's just up. I'm like immediately, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna like pull a little bit and just be sort of really loosey goosey because this is a small girl. What happened? Oh, Chris Noonan is like, you blacked out. I almost I had to tap really quickly just because she was totally on me. So certain light people you should go in with the intent to kill. I'm just gonna say that. All right, giving someone advice after they tap you out. Yeah,
that's annoying.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Annoying. That's annoying. I mean, so there's certain levels to it. Like I will tell one of my students after I submit them, good match. Hey man, you should try this. But I'm always reading their reaction. Like I said, it's always about intent, particularly in this one, because this is a touchy subject. So if you were telling something after you submitted someone and they're receptive to what you're saying, you can continue to tell them. But if you look at them and like they're not cool with it and they're kind of bummed, you don't come up to them and be like, hey man, let's talk about that. You know, you need to do this, this, and this, because they're gonna be like, you know what, screw you, dude. So again, it's all about intent and perception of that when it comes out.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I've only ever really given critiques, and also just like having like less experience than a lot of people, you know, I'm really hesitant to offer any kind of thing ever, but I started a small like casual jiu-jitsu club in college just to get some more rolls in more frequently. And I'd shown a few of them the head and arm choke, and in live rolls, this guy Dev got me in the the head and arm choke, and he wasn't able to finish, and then the timer went off. And then I sort of showed him the stuff that he was missing and how he could shore it up and get the choke, like just because I wasn't at a point where I was going to tap.
Right.
And I think that that's probably the safest point to offer criticism is when someone's holding you in something and then the buzzer goes off and then you immediately go, hey man, like that you were really close with that.
Yeah.
Like, but if you had just like done, like if you had angled out a little bit more on the triangle.
But it's about reading the guy you're speaking to and making sure that they are receptive to your criticism at the time when you're trying to treat them.
I think it's just that people can tell when you're like people like more often than not, I think can tell what your intentions are. Like if you're going into this with with the energy of I'm going to tell this dude off and deflate him a little bit, the people are going to be able to suss that out. People aren't real idiots. But if you're going just being like, dude, awesome, my 2 cents, and then you just say it, I think people will more often than not be happy. But I get where Avery's coming from with the mentality. Like just talking down to people, right? Like, I've had lower belts try and like I've had white belts try and correct me on some things, and I'm like, dude, I know I'm right, and you're just kind of.
The thing too is like every gym has its know-it-all too, and every gym has the guy that's going to be that kind. And there's definitely a sense of arrogance when you have this kind of like, hey man, I caught you in this, you should do this. So everyone has that dude, and he's kind of a pain in the ass sometimes.
Yeah. All right, hurting training partners for the sake of hurting that. Wow. Well,
I don't know, how is that even on there?
That's like assault.
Yeah, exactly. That's grounds for being dismissed from the academy and possibly arrested or beaten down in the street with a baseball bat. We in the streets, homie.
That's like the type of stuff where like a guy running a gym will tell every other gym in the area about this guy to just keep him away from the mats.
Oh yeah, you just get banned
like years, if not ever. Yeah.
Anyone stupid enough to think of that is just out of their mind. If you're trying to hurt somebody, like you're not fit for jiu-jitsu. Like just get out the door. You don't need to be here no more.
Yeah, it's like I guess like I think sometimes I've never even really met people that would like hold on to submissions for too long. Like there was that we actually reported on this a while ago that gym in Brazil had that video come out where the purple belt was rolling with like a lower belt and he choked him out with like a reverse triangle or something.
Mm-hmm.
And hang on, actually I'm gonna see if I think I was the one that did the story, so I'm gonna try and find it. There was a few instances of it, like hang on, if need be, we'll edit this together. Okay, yeah, it was like a lockdown video,
and she gets caught in a reverse triangle. I can't remember. There
was I'm thinking of something different. Okay, there was a video. This on screen was when this teacher doing a demonstration of like how to counter the lockdown. He ended up like it looked like he injured a student, and then he came out and said it was like Fugazi or something. So I think there was actually, there was like a Gracie breakdown. So I think we might have done a story on that. Gracie breakdown, Khabib, Cron Gracie constitutes excessive use of force by the law. Nope. I could probably watch Gracie breakdown videos forever. Just hearing like Henner's voice. Just
you want to hear a true story?
Yeah.
I had no idea that Henner and what's the other one? Who are the two brothers? Henner and Huron. I thought Henner and Huron were the same person. I only thought they were two brothers. So I thought there was Henner and Halick. I'm 100% dead serious, and that was up till about a week ago that I found out to be not true.
Okay.
I thought Henner and what's the other one? Those two. I thought they were the same person, and then I thought Halick was another person.
Okay. Then this is the video where this is the only time I've ever seen someone like get weirdly injured during training.
Oh yeah, this is weird. This is the one where they all like tap the guy out, and then they freaking like
and then he's just like, no, stay away.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous, dude.
And then he's just like he's just bring
him back.
They got to bring him back
again. That's fucking
they throw him back. I don't even want to watch.
I don't even want to watch. It's horrible. I remember when they put that out. That's the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, and the way that the dude in the video was reacting, it was almost like, no, I got like this is just how things are cool.
Yeah, this is what we do.
I gotta kill this guy.
Yeah.
Was that bone arrow
lessons? No lessons. It was a bone arrow joke. No lessons were learned from that.
Yeah. So like, from your experience, is that something that gets practiced at like American gyms, or is that really just sort of like an old school Brazilian thing?
If you look at that video, no one in that
I've trained at like sketchy places, but never that sketchy.
Yeah, if you look at the video, nobody in that video was above a blue belt. It was just some kind of weird thing that they were doing.
Hey, Kevin, real quick.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, could you repeat that? You cut out for a while.
Oh, did I? Oh no, am I still there?
You cut out for like a little bit.
Can you hear me now or no? Can you hear me?
Just give it a second.
Yes or no?
I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yep, you're good. Sorry,
okay.
you froze for a second there, so I didn't really hear what you were saying.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. My internet's cranking on me here.
No worries.
So yeah, anyway, what I was saying is that I mean the guys in that video, if you look at the video, none of them are over a blue belt. So like it wasn't like it was some kind of big deal. I think it was just some kind of weird thing that a bunch of guys that got out of hand started doing, or it could have been some dudes that broke away from their gym because they decided they didn't want to train there no more and started their own gym, and now they're doing their own fancy jiu-jitsu out of some garage or something like that. Because like I could never in a million years feel that a legitimate jiu-jitsu instructor would say that is okay.
Yeah, I think that just with regulations being what they are for things like martial arts schools, that sort of thing would set off so many red flags. Like, just look at the only guy that's really associated with that type of stuff is Husmar Palhares.
Right.
You know, like he's the only real guy that's known for holding on to stuff.
Well,
and he's even seemed to turn a new leaf. Like,
he's a special case. Some people have said they feel like he has like Asperger's or something like that. I've heard that from people in circles that say he's a little bit off, like he doesn't really like he's kind of has like he's on the spectrum or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like it always seems like with him, there's a bit of a disconnect. Like there's some stuff lost in communication, like translation.
You know what I heard too is that he had a very difficult upbringing, like very, very difficult upbringing, and some people have said that it's kind of trauma induced, that he can't make the separation between like not harming someone or something like that. It's some kind of creepy psychological freaking explanation they came up with because of his traumatic childhood. But
Jesus.
I don't know. Either way, he's a dick.
His last the two fights I remember, he just had that match with Gordon where like Gordon was stuck on his massive back for like the whole
he just held onto his hand for freaking 18 minutes.
Yeah, and like he literally having traps that big is going to help you out. That's got to be
giant meat hooks of hands to hold on to his freaking Gordon's arm.
Such a beef. He's just a piece of beef, man. It's awesome.
he's so huge. He said,
if I could wake up,
nickname's the Stump is what they call him.
Yeah, if I could wake up as anybody besides, oh my God, what's his name? This is gonna kill me. He's like the soldier of God, Yoel Romero. If I could wake up as any like MMA dude, any MMA or jiu-jitsu person that wasn't Yoel Romero, because that's the right answer every time.
Right.
He's like the most genetically perfect thing to ever enter the octagon. He's a 40-year-old man that looks like he's in the prime of his 20s.
Did you see the video?
He's going to look like that before he dies, like till the day he dies.
Did you see the video of him talking about our with the style bender? I guess Stylebender was mad at him and told him that he, said something about he's dodging me or he doesn't want to fight me or something like that. And Yoel, like, he was mad. He was screaming, you tell him I'm here. You tell him you come now right here. And he said like the F-bomb and all that stuff like that. But yeah,
Michael Bisping.
And I'm in my mind, I was thinking, I was laughing to myself, like, I don't think I would ever in a million years want Yoel Romero angry at me. If he was talking to me like that, I would probably like fall down like in the fetal position, pretend I was dead, like a bear was attacking me. Like, please don't hurt me, Yoel Romero.
What's the game plan? Like, how many people alive could unarmed deal with Yoel Romero?
He's a special case, man.
I know, right?
When you watch him in his MMA fights, he's reserved. You know what I mean? Because he knows he has to go 5 rounds, so he's kind of keeping his pace and stuff like that. If it was in a real situation where he was like in a life or death situation, he'd probably just pick you up and break you over his fucking head.
In the middle of his fight with Paulo Costa, I had this realization that I'm watching the 2 most perfect athletes in MMA beat the absolute brain matter out of each other.
Right.
They're not even they're bobbing and weaving, but also a lot of it's just like rock'em sock'em robots.
Right.
Oh man. Okay. Well, that's a fight I would. That's a fight. I don't care who has to cut what to make that happen. Yeah, have it be at a catch weight that they both agree on and just sort of make it happen. I don't care.
Right. Figure out a way.
Figure it out, Dana, please. Oh, okay, man. That's an hour. I'd say that's a good point to probably.
I think so too, man. I got some laundry I got to fold.
That's a good point to call it.
Do my nightly chores, watch a little TV, and fall asleep, and then wake up tomorrow morning and go like a crazy person all day again.
Hell yeah, man.
Good day.
All right. Well, this has been episode 1 of the Jiu-Jitsu Times podcast. We're going to try and make this a weekly thing. We did it, man. And as always, I have been Kevin Bradley.
And I'm Kevin Gallagher.
All right. And we'll see you next time.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
All right.
Ooh, yeah, good stuff, bro. I think it was all right, man.
Holy shit,
I'm tired.
Man.